here's an interesting trick. Imagine you have a data set and the columns of this data set are not really in a good form. For example, they might have empty spaces or strange characters in them, and you want to remove them and use a specific naming convention. So let's start with here with a new data set. So we have the MPG data set from the Tidyverse package, and let's just rename all the column names and put them to uppercase and write them to disk. So write them to the data folder. You can see it here, the data folder, and we call this mpg uppercase.csv. So I run this code, and now I have this uppercase data set in here. If I read in this data set with read CSV, I should see that the actual column names are all written in uppercase letters, and that's exactly what happens here. Now, we want to use a specific naming convention for these column names, and there's a little trick we can use to do this, and for that we need the janitor package, library janitor. So let's load that package here, janitor. There we go. And now we can do something interesting. We can use the name repair function argument in that function to convert all these column names to specific naming conventions. So how does this work? Well, the read CSV file has this name repair argument, name repair equals. We can also have a look into the documentation, read CSV. If we scroll down a little bit, or we can also just type in name repair here, name repair, we can see there's this argument, and this argument can take a bunch of different characters, but also a function, a per-style anonymous function, and that's what we're going to do here. So I'm going to write down the tilde here, and then I'm going to use the function make clean names from the janitor package. The make clean names function is actually fairly simple. So what it does, it takes a string of stuff. For example, we could have a variable called my house and my garden, a vector of my garden, and so forth. And then I convert these characters into a specific naming convention, for example, upper camel case, like this. And now you can see that it converted my strings here into specific naming conventions. We're going to go into this in more detail in a second. So here's the name make clean names function. Then the dots just stands for the column names, and then I can specify the case. And let's start with what we just did. Let's just use upper camel for now and see how the results look like. And now if I look at the data set, I can see that every variable, every column starts with an uppercase letter, and then we have lowercase letters. Before that, we only had uppercase letters. So that's interesting. You can actually get an overview of all the different naming conventions you can use. I've written a little piece of code here for you, so you can have a look at it, how it looks like. You don't have to know how this stuff works, really. We just need I think we need the GS package for this. Oopsie. Okay, let's load this. Oh no, it doesn't exist here. Let's see. Oh, GT, of course. My bad. GT. Let's load the data set. Let's load the package, and then we can create this table here. And this gives us all the naming conventions that the make clean names function provides. And as you can see, we have very interesting naming conventions. We have small camel, which is kind of often used in R. We have snake, which is the most common case in R, I guess. Then we have funny name conventions, for example, like a random, which just creates a random set of upper and lowercase letters, and so forth and so forth. So all kinds of different naming conventions. Let's maybe try out random just to see how it looks like. So let's see how random looks like. And as you can see, all the column names are written in random uppercase and lowercase letters. That's not really what we need most of the time. I think snake is a good choice. And as you can see, everything is in lowercase. And if a column name, for example, would be 2 words, then they would be separated by an underscore. So this is how you read in a data set and convert all the column names to a specific naming conventions. I think it's a very neat trick and something that should be in your toolbox, I think.